All right. Well, we're going to grow some passion fruit on the property. And this weekend I had a situation where I wanted to go out and get some. So I went to the local farmers market and they didn't have anything. But it turned out that Sprouts, local farmers market chain, it's got a lot of stores in the Southwest. They had these little passion fruits. And I asked the produce guy, I said, really, that's not overripe or anything? He says, no, that's what it's supposed to look like. So that one there looks kind of purplish, don't you think? But they come in purples and yellows. But basically what we're going to do is just to scoop out the goodness. And I'm just going to try a little bit of this. And you can watch, I've never had one of these before, so you can watch my reaction. You know, when you get those mango, you can get a bottle of fruit drink, and it can be like part mango. I got one that was part mango, passion fruit. And you can definitely taste that tropical, cool taste of the passion fruit. I do like it. I do think you can probably water it down a little bit and make it go a little further. But I'm going to save the seeds and I'm going to plant them in the yard, and we'll have more about that when the time comes. So there's what we've got. We got, out of 2 of them, got about 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to separate the seeds from them and put those aside for planting. All right, it's been a little while. Here's the passion fruit. And they're coming along quite well. And we'll pull this up a little bit. You see the light gets down right in there. And then there's one that has 2 true leaves forming. When they're brand new, of course, like this one here, they've got their cotyledons. And then there's one that comes along, there's the first true leaf. It's that little pointy thing. But the ones that they got the 2, I have to believe that some of these are candidates for being moved to a bigger area. So let's go ahead and unlock that. So what I'm going to do, since, I mean, there's a lot more than 1 there. There's like 3. There's a really nice one with another one coming up in the bottom. And I don't know what's going on with that green stuff, but it sure does like the perlite. So, but today, aren't they looking great? So today I want to transfer them to something that is a bit bigger. So here's what I've got. And I'm not gonna have you watch the entire thing, but with this, we got a new mat. This one's from a different company. This one's from, I bought a heat mat. I went to Grow Generation, but they didn't have hardly anything. I was really disappointed. But they did have this tray, which I'm happy with. And then they had these little guys. So these are quite different. So this will be the size that they'll be going to when I go to harden them. Okay, that'll be good. So I'll go fill those up, and I'll move some of these bigger ones here. Boy, don't these look really good? And every night I put that plastic dome on it, and if they get about 4 hours, it builds up a nice steam. And then during the night, of course, it's on a timer, and so the timer turns the light off, and they come in the morning and they're just all perky. And so you can see that it's pretty strong. You know, what you're trying to shoot for is something that doesn't get real leggy, and something that has some strength to the. So this seems to be working pretty well so far. The passion fruit, they're about the same as yesterday, but I'm moving things out a little bit. I modified this so it's a little bit cleaner of a working area, and I bought this fairy morse, the hand that seeds the world. 2-foot light arrangement. This one's a little bit different in that they have the hookups in the plastic at the top, and then they also have an arrangement down here where you have another little plastic. It's not bad. So let's see if we can pop one of these out. Let's start with the low-hanging fruit. And I'm just going to put my finger through the hole in the bottom, which is about the size. And then this is a bit wet, but it's about the same wetness as this. So I probably should turn off the lights. Over here, because it's going to be going into some kind of shock, and I will turn it off, and we'll just put it there for now. And hopefully it will do well, and that's how we'll do it. So the next thing you'll see is a full tray, or not a full tray, but as much as possible. And I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with these ones that have two or three in the same container. Maybe I'll see if I can break those apart and give them a chance. So I'll get a couple of them ready, two or three containers ready, and see if I can salvage ones that had 2 or 3 seeds in the same one. So back in a second. All right. Here is my passion flower or passion fruit progress. Remember, originally I started off with this whole tray here full, and then since then I had put like about 2 in each. I had 2 passion flower fruit, and I put 2 or 3 in each. And this is all the ones it's produced. So I got like a fairy morse light. What these are 24 watt, 20 inches or so T5 lights. And so these are the ones that I originally did. I mean, that came out first. And they're getting quite big. And I went over to Grow Generation and got these cute little 22 cent 3.5 inch, 3.25 inch containers, so they fit perfect in this like 20 by 10 tray. So this one here is a little taller now, so I put a brick underneath it. So I originally thought I didn't like the fact that you couldn't adjust it so well, but all you have to do is put a brick under each end and raise it as you need to. Here's another innovation. There are these fly ribbons that you can buy. Usually you just hang them, but what I decided to do is just roll it out and put it where the flies are. And so I put it out here yesterday, and it's doing a really good job. I don't see any more flies, those little tiny soil gnats. Also, I water from below, although it's pretty wet at the top, but I just use the wick system. And so these are the new ones that I did. I transplanted a bunch of these yesterday. As soon as they get 2 true leaves, this one's actually got 3, but like these right here, they've got, I tell the ones over here that once you get 2 true leaves, and so since I ran out of room over here, I just put these ones that were just barely 2 leaves. They're just looking pretty scrappy. But a lot of these will, you know, every Saturday I promise the ones that, see, these have got just 1 true leaf. Oh, there's one that's got 2, so that will be much bigger by Saturday. And hopefully I'm going to start moving some of these outside so you get a little hardened every day. I've been working on the effort of hardening them. So today we're on about day 5 of hardening. They're all looking quite good. I talk to them and tell them how good they're doing. But these are what I call the seniors. They've been about 5 days into hardening. And you can see that they're darker. These are darker than the ones that have not been out for hardening. So I call these my seniors, and these are my juniors. And I'm really looking forward this weekend to getting the seniors out into the yard. So yesterday they got about a half hour of sun, but up until then, the previous 4 days, they didn't get any sun. Just in the shade for like 4 or 5 hours. And then over here we have what I call a sophomore, because I didn't have room for that. There's another one. Ooh, that needs to be watered. I'll water that today. Yes, that's what I looked. So let's get those out. Let me show you what I do. Okay, so the first step is to turn this baby off. And I unplug this, pick up the light, and then move it out of the way. And then I find the middle of the tray, make sure not to touch that sticky thing, or to drop the brick on my toe. Okay. And I just put them over here in the shade. So right now it's about 55 degrees here in Phoenix. And so they'll get a little chilly. They got to get used to outside temperature. I'll water those probably tomorrow. All right, well, our buddies here have been hardening and they've had more sun today than usual. But don't they look great? These are probably, they all look like they're fake plants. They look so perfect. Okay, one last night under the lights for the seniors. And then tomorrow the juniors will be moved over. And then the sophomores and the freshmen will all have an opportunity to move if they've got their 2 true leaves. This one's got a lot more than 2. But I had run out of room. Hence the need to get these out in the yard. And now that it's hitting 70 degrees, you can see all those little light dots, those little cool little eyes. I don't know if you can see them so well outside, but this is a lot better. But isn't that wild, that those little glass, and then apparently they harden up, and maybe they form a place for new growth. It's February 27th, and I was going to put the passion fruit out into the yard today, but I brought it outside early this morning, really, like about 8 o'clock or so. And when I came out about 9, a lot of on the ones on the outside here had really drooped. And they were giving me the indication that they did not like 50-degree weather, 45-degree weather. So I'm going to wait until next week when we're going to be certainly in the 50s as a low for the nightly low. Because I don't want to, after all this good work, getting them up to be, a nice size. So these are looking really good. I don't want to have them die due to cold shock or something. So I'm going to wait till next weekend to put them out. But this is the last you'll see of them in the hardening stage. I've been putting them outside for about 4 hours every day in the shade over here. And then right about now, 1 o'clock or so is when they start to see some light. But this morning, after they got really cold, I said, it might not be a bad idea just to put them out in the sun. And so they'll have a full day of hardening, and then I'll go back inside, every night, and I put them in here with their friends. And this is the next grouping that's going to be going out, starting the hardening process once I put these other ones out. And this was the last of the kids. I left no seedling behind, even the ones that look kind of scraggly. And then this is kind of interesting. I started out with complete new dirt, new mix. And darn if there's some seed of some type, because all cotyledons look alike. So I'm really kind of curious as to what that was in the mix from the Happy Frog. You can probably guess, but who knows? So, I won't be making any room in here today. I'll just be moving the seniors back in here tonight. And I put out a new fly strip, which is, the other one was all full of gnats and stuff. So, that's it for this segment. But the seniors are getting their, the hardening continues. Every day I'll put them out here on this little table. It gets pretty windy. We've been getting like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And so I have to keep tabs of that, not only the temperature and how much sun, but also the wind. Some wrinkly clouds in the tree. It's in the palm trees, palming away over there. So next weekend, we'll go out in the yard. See, the bee is getting nectar off of the leaf. And the buzzing lets the plant know that it's a safe place to grow and have flowers, because there's an ample bee population. So that's my theory. But the bee, this is a long time from having anything close to a flower. But there's Mr. Bee already looking around. So when Daniel was over here, we noticed this. I thought it was a fluke, but that bee's hanging around and it's trying to lick up those little nectar balls that I've been talking about. So I think that's pretty cool. This bee is finding something it likes with this plant, the passion fruit. So I'm betting this is going to be an outrageously great item. It came after me. I guess it didn't like my narration. So, in any event, that was the observation the other day, that the bees like the passion fruit long before the flowers come because of those little nectar balls. So that's kind of a cool discovery, don't you think? Well, this is Easter Sunday, and here's the junior class of passion fruit. As you can see, when I mentioned seed to vine, these guys are vining. And so I'm going to do a quick walkabout and show you where I planted it in the yard. And then I'll plant one of those vine ones out front where the radishes are. And but I'm going to be watering these today, so they'll look a little perkier later. But over here we got one that's, well, in the aloe vera. So when the aloe vera is puffy, I know that it's got plenty of water at the roots. And here's another one. And the leaves are dragging a little bit because I need to water it this morning. And then I'll do a quick little water. And then my new buddy Dan gave me a ton of compost. So I've got that all, half of it bundled up. The other half I spread over here. I fed the back bed there. But these are going to be, one's going to be planted in my yard. The other one's, a few are going to go in my dad's yard. And then the rest I'm going to give to neighbors. So here are some. We'll be vining soon. And climbing up here and going along my, see what I did here? I just took a hose and wired it. And I'll do that on both sides. You'll be able to dangle. And we'll do a little quick walk out. But see all this great compost stuff that Dan gave me? Thank you, Dan. All right, we'll just do a walkabout and show you where I planted it. We got a couple over here. And like in the back, I'll have some poles that'll go across here and it will terrace. And then, aren't the lavender looking great? And then over here, I'll plant one on the back side of the radishes, which are dying off now that it's getting so hot. I think we're going to hit 100 degrees today. But here's one that's planted there. And as you can see, once it starts to vine, it'll find the fence thing there. And another one. And over here we got 4 of them. Well protected, although I'm not sure I quite needed that. But they're going to get watered today. They'll look a little perkier, but these will eventually terrace on the moringa there. And just a couple more. So we got one looking right there. Looking good. It'll soon find the pole like the Foti does. And another one over here that's doing quite well. And it soon will be vining and finding the pole. And then there'll be an interesting competition between the goji berries and the moringa and the Foti. So, in any event, that's where it's been planted. So So now I'm going to plant the one vine and then probably call it a wrap on this series, because I did promise you from seed to vine, and I do think the junior class over there, which is the second tray of 18, qualifies as a vine. So let's plant that final vine. So we'll take this one here that's the biggest, just because it's easier to, and the bees sure do love this stuff. So isn't that a beaut? And we'll plant it where the where we have very few other radishes. So we will go ahead and don't want to mess up the make sure we orient it towards where it wants to climb. Cover that baby back up. And we'll get a little bit of water there to let the roots connect better. That will push all of that back in, making sure not to cover up the top too much. There we go. And so you see the vine is going to find, and I'll come out and trellis it. In any event, we're at the tail end of our fashion cute passion fruit from seed to vine. And so I've shown you going from the fruit to the seed to seedlings growing, and now the tail end here is the vine. So this was the tail end of my radishes. Gets a little bit too warm for radishes, but you can see I've got my those little vines there that it started to stick into the screen, so I had to open it up some. But I put a rope on it today, and hopefully it will follow up the rope and then eventually climb and do its thing. But in any event, this is the tail end of the passion fruit sequence. And I hope that you get the idea that this thing's going to continue to climb, and we're going to have passion fruit. This is also where I'm going to be putting dragon fruit in the near future. I've got seeds growing on that, but we'll save that for a different day. All right. Thank you very much.